Hey, what's up there, roulette players? What's going on? I have another a system I seen on the Roulette Master a long time ago. It's been a while. It's been a minute, but it's a great system. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try this out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with dollar units. 6 units there. I'm gonna put 6 units here. All right, and then I'm going to put $2 here, $2. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and spin. It's a $16 bet. So let's see how this one goes and see if we can last an hour with it. That's an 11. That's a $2 win. Rebet and spin. That's a 5. That's another win. Another $2 win. Rebet and spin. That's a 10. That's another win. So we're gonna rebet and spin. That's a 0. That's not good for anyone. Okay, that's our first loss. That's a $16 loss. So what we're gonna do with this system is we are going to just double it and see if we can get back and spin. It's gonna take like 4 wins to get back, but let's see what we can do. That's an 8 black. That's another win. Rebet and spin. It'll take about 3 wins to get back, so let's do the 3 wins. Since it's high coverage, 19, that's a win. Okay, we're gonna rebet and spin. Let's see if we can get 1 more and get back on track and go back to base. That's a 28 black, that's a win. All right, so with this system, because it's such high coverage, we got a good way to do it. All right, now we're back down to 16. Let's go ahead and spin. That's another win. All right, so let's rebet and spin. We're up 4 units. 17. That should be a good one. It is. All right, and with this system, the Roulette Master, which big shout outs to him. I'll put a link to his video down below. With him, he plays $10 units, so it would be 60, 60, 20, and 20, and he wins $20 at a time. But we're just gonna do it we're just gonna play by units. You can decide what units you want to use. You can use $5 units if you want. All right, so that's a loss. So we're gonna rebet. We're gonna double it once and spin. And with this system, he usually doesn't double it. He just continues to go because it's such high coverage. But I want to double it because I want to come back a little bit faster. So we're gonna rebet and spin. Let me adjust my camera a little bit. There we go. All right, and that's a loss. All right, so what we're gonna do with that is we're gonna rebet and we're gonna double again and spin. All right, that's a 26 black. That's a win. It's an $8 win. Rebet and spin. We're gonna have to have a lot of ones in a row to come back with this one. All right, that's a 2. That's a win. We're gonna rebet and spin. That's a 1. That's a win. So we're gonna rebet and spin. 2 more and we'll go back to base. That's a 36. That's a win. Okay, we're gonna rebet and spin. That's a 19 red. that's a win. All right, so we're gonna rebet. And I think we can come back down. Where are we at? Yeah, we can come back down. Come back down. Oops, wait a minute. Gotta put them back. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, spin. All right, now we're up only 2 units. It's an 11. That's a good win. Okay, I'm gonna rebet and spin. All right, that's a 29 black. It's another win. Rebet and spin. And with this system, if you're playing higher units, if you're playing $10 units, you just try to get to like $100 and get out. But with this system, I'm going the full hour. But yeah, this is all right. That's a loss. So we're gonna rebet. We're gonna double it, and we're gonna spin. Let's recover this $8 back in 2 shots. 18. All right, that's a win. Rebet and spin. All right, that's a 16. That's a loss, okay? So we're gonna rebet. We're gonna double and spin. Let's see if we can get this back to recovery. That's a 1, that's a win. So we're gonna rebet and spin. It's a 5 red, that's a win. Rebet and spin. Our next loss, I'm going to change it a little bit. Because it's such high coverage, I'm going to take the chance and I'm going to triple it. But for now, let's just keep it like this for now. All right. Oops, we had another loss. Man. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't see that. We had another loss. Wow. All right, so let's try 1, 2, 3. Let's try to triple this and spin. We need to recover $148. That's a 10. That's a win. It's a $64 win. Rebet, spin. Whew. This is a large amount to get back. That's an 8. That's a win. All right, rebet and spin. That's a 26. That's a win. All right, so now we're back in profit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to base. Okay, and spin. We're up 44 units now. But that was a lot of risk for that. It was a lot of risk. All right. So rebet and spin. That's an 11 black. All right, that's a win. Rebet and spin. It's a lot of risk for $2. That's a 20 black. That should be good. Rebet and spin. We're up 50 units. That's a 4 black. That should be a win. Rebet and spin. That's a 2 black. That should be a win. Rebet and spin. That's a win. That's a win. $2 win. Rebet. Rebet and spin. That's a 0. That's not good. We're not going to risk the bankroll right now. We're just going to rebet and spin because we're still up 40. All right, that's a 35. That's a win. All right, so we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 14 red. That's a win. Rebet and spin. All right, that's a 16 red. That's a loss. All right, so we're not going to risk the bankroll. We're just going to rebet and spin. We're still up 28 units. It's a 34 red. That's a $2 win. Rebet and spin. That's a 3. That should be a win. So rebet and spin. $35 black. That's a $2 win. Rebet and spin. That's a 28 black. That should be a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 0. All right, so that's a loss. So we're just going to rebet and spin. We're not going to risk the bankroll. We're still up 20 units. It's a 15 black. All right, that's a $2 win. Rebet and spin. That's a $2 win. Rebet and spin. Just remember the unit size, whatever you use. If you use $5 units, it would have to be 5 times 6 on the 1 through 12. And on the 2, 1 through 12, so it would be 60 and 60. And then, actually not 60, 60, sorry, 30, 30. And then it would be 10 and 10 on the corners. So we're just going to rebet and spin. Still up 26 units. It's a 17. That's a good one. So we're just going to rebet and spin. All right, that's an 11 black. All right, that's a win. Rebet and spin. Remember, you can walk away at any point. You don't have to play the full hour. 29 black. This is a short-term game. It's a good game to play for short-term. Not long-term. I wouldn't go too long with this game. All right, with this strategy, with this roulette strategy. So 24 black. So that's a loss. So we're down 16 now. That's a 20. That should be a win. All right. Rebet and spin. We'll still be up if we lose now. So we still don't have to go back. That's a 7. That's a win. Rebet and spin. That's a 6 black. That should be a win. Rebet and spin. That's a 9. That's a win. Rebet and spin. That's a 36 red. That should be a win. Rebet and spin. That's a 26 black. That should be a win. rebet and spin. So 27, that'll be a win. 1 to hit the 0. Rebet and spin. Good thing it didn't. That's a 5, that's a win. Alright, rebet and spin. Alright, that's a 18 red. It's a win. Rebet and spin. That's a 30 red. That's a good one. Rebet and spin. Oh, that's no good. Alright. So now we're down a little bit, but we're still up, so we're not going to risk the bankroll. We're just going to rebet and spin. It's an 11 black. That should be a good one. Rebet and spin. That's a 33 black. That's a good one. So we're just going to rebet and spin. That's an 8 black. Alright, that's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. It's a 10 black. That's a win. So we're just going to rebet and spin. Best thing to do with this one is probably 30 units and cash in, because that's like basically our point where we always drop back down. So when you watch me, you should pay attention to when it starts dropping, so that you can get a good idea of when would be a good time to cash out. At what number? At this point, I'm looking at 30 units should be a good cash out. So it would be 300 on $10 bets. It would be 150 at $5 bets. And probably, obviously dollar bets, 30 units, $30. All right, so we're going to rebet and spin. Red. I think that's a win. Yes. Thought it was a loss for a minute, but it's not. Okay. All right, so now we're up 38 units. That's a 31 black. That's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. We're up 40 units. This hasn't been up here in a while. That's a 4 black. That's a good one. So rebet and spin. So 35, that's a good one. So we rebet and spin. I wouldn't push it past the 30 units, even though I am, and I'm doing very successful, but I would still maybe stop at 30 if you're playing for real money. All right, that's a 33. That's still another good one. All right. Rebet, spin. You can go a lot of times without losing, but all it takes is that one, and then you wipe down $16. So it'd be a perfect time to walk right now, but we're not going to increase because we're still above. That's 27 red. That's a good one. Rebet and spin. That's a 28 black. That's a good one. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 2 black. That's a win. So we're just going to rebet and spin. That's a 21 red. That's a loss. See, all it takes is that one loss. Rebet and spin, and you lose 16 units. It's a lot of units. So, 25, that's a good one. Rebet and spin. It's a 5, that's a good one. Rebet and spin. It's a 13 black. All right. Rebet and spin. It's a 35 black. That's a good one. Rebet and spin. We lost somewhere. I didn't realize we lost. Okay. That's a 3 red. That's a win. Where did we lose? Oh, we lost on the 13. That was 2 ones ago. Okay. But rebet and spin was still above, so we're not going to risk the bankroll. Win one more, and there it is. Then we don't have to worry about resetting the next loss either. Because we're up 16 units. It'll take us down to 0 if we lost here. And we did. Oh my God, I shouldn't have jinxed it. All right, so with that, we're still not going to double the bet because we still are not negative. But if we get negative, then we are going to triple the bet, which is a major risk, but the chances of losing is very slim. All right, that's a win. So we're going to rebet spin. Unless we can get this back up to 16, then we won't have to worry about resetting the next one. All right, that's a 6 black. That's a win. Rebet and spin. But like I said, you would have cashed out at 30. You would have been fine. 30 units. 35. Always get up to like 40 and then it just drops. So I wouldn't push it past 30. 30 units. $30 a day is not a bad day. As long as it's extra money and it's not your income. All right, that's a 21 red. But if you're doing this for extra money, it's not a bad deal. All right, now we're going to have to triple the bet. 1, 2, 3, and spin. Because now we're -6. So hopefully we don't get a loss here. And that's a 7. That's a win. So we won $16. So now we're back in the profit. So we're going to go back to base. Back to the $16 unit. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I freaking hit the button accidentally. All right, that's a 14 red. Hopefully that's not a loss. It's a win. All right, you only won $6 because it wasn't. I hit the. Oops. Right there. All right, spin. We got a $6 win, so actually we did pretty good with an accident. All right, that's a 29 black, so that's a win. Rebet and spin. We're back above the 16, so we don't have to worry about resetting on our next roll. I keep jinxing myself. All right, well, that's not good. All right, so we're just going to rebet and spin because we're still above $2. There's a 23 red. That's a win, I believe. Yeah. Rebet and spin. Let's see if we can get this back up. That's a 27 red. It's a win. Rebet and spin. And if you do this for, if you put 600, 600, and 200, and 200, you can win $100 and then leave after one spin. Oh, I'm sorry, you'll win 200. Sorry. Wow. Yeah, $200. And then you can leave. But if that happens, that'll be a problem. All right, so we're gonna rebet and we're gonna triple it again because we're down and spin. Just need one win to come back and then we'll be back on track. That's a 19. That should be a win. It is. All right, so now rebet. I'm gonna take it back down to base. Sorry guys. Spin. All right, that's a 0. Now we're back to 0. That's a 29. That's a win. All right, we're back up 2 units. Rebet and spin. All right, that's a 35. That's a win. Rebet and spin. That's an 18 red. That's a win. Rebet, spin. We need to bring this back up. It's really being difficult. 32. All right, so we're going to rebet and spin. It's 11 black. That's a win. Rebet and spin. It's a very slow grind up. 9, that's why it's a good to set a walk-off limit. Rebet and spin. That's a 3 red, that's a good one. Rebet and spin. That's a 35 black, that's a win. All right, we're back up to 16. So if we lose here, I shouldn't have said that. All right, then we don't have to reset. That's a 13 black, and that is a loss. Oh my God, I shouldn't say those things, man. Rebet. Every time I say it, we lose. Every single time. But we're going to rebet, and we're just going to spin because we are still above. We're not negative. It's a 20. That's a win. Rebet, spin. It's hard to get 8 in a row. It really is. There's another loss. All right, so we're going to rebet. We're going to double, double, and double again, and spin. This will take us above. That's a 16 red. That's another loss. Wow. So we're going to rebet. We're going to triple it again. And this is our last one. We can't go further than this. This will be our bankroll. That's a 25 red. All right, that's a $128 win. We're still down 14. So let's rebet and spin. Oh boy. Probably shouldn't have risked that. I should have probably went back down to the other level. Yep. I should have went back down to the other level. All right. Yeah, I should have went back down to the other level. Okay, so let's see where we're at. We're at 1,038. Man, I should have went way back down. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to bet, and we can do 1,038. So we can take 38 off of there. Let's see what we got here. 985 plus 30. Come off one more. All right, that's about all we can do. So let's go ahead and spin. We need a win here. That's a 13. Black, that's another loss. All right, guys, we lost the bankroll. Yep, we're $2 shy, but we lost the bankroll. We saved $2. But we lost the bankroll. All right, guys, don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss another roulette spin. All right, and thank you, and you guys have a fabulous weekend.